Hi guys. I felt like I was in a little bit of a slump this week, writing wise, and when that happens to me, I try and go back and start from things that I know to be true. And I write down things that I know, whether it's a fact or something that's happened to me, and then I try and build off of that. So that's what this piece is. It's called What I Know. I don't know a lot of things, but I know some. I know the exact balance and weight distribution it takes to ride a unicycle, and while that doesn't really help me in the real world, my friend Eliza and I thought it was a brilliant idea to teach ourselves how when we were 11 years old. When we were 11 years old, my friend Eliza wore a green hat with orange polka dots every single day. One afternoon, that hat was stolen from its rightful owner. With malice and teasing, I quickly mounted my steed and off I rode into the sunset towards the enemy camp. Through battles and forests I rode until I got there to rescue the prized possession. Through negotiation, I got close enough to snatch the hat away, and it's a good thing I had a fast horse, otherwise I might not have made it out of there alive. For a second, I thought that I might not make it out of there alive, the afternoon that I fell off a 10-foot-high sled jump. I was 8.5 years old. Snow piled high around me, my fingers gripped the edges of the plastic dish, my knuckles white. With a push from a snowsuit-clad bean, I was off. But as the corner approached, the rope around my hands became too tight, and off the edge I went, airborne in a perfect moment of knowing what it was like to be a snowflake. Until snowflake no more, I plummeted. I hit the hard-packed road, stomach first, the thin layer of man-made material and my snow jacket, all there was to protect me. I could not breathe. No air existed in the world, for my fall had taken it all away, swept it from the surrounding area as down I went. My lungs deflated balloons inside my chest, my eyes wide with terror as I lay there wondering what it might feel like to breathe again. I heard footsteps, and I looked up to meet my sister's eyes. I had no words. I looked up to meet my sister's eyes. I had no words. She was 15, her eyes bright and shiny in the stage lights. Her full face of makeup made her look like a perfectly formed doll, except for the sweat that glistened on her back. Girls crowded around us, tutus brushing up against 100 legs, clad in pink tights. I smiled and nodded, and she knew. I folded my arms around her, and amid the chaos, and could feel her exhale. She stood taller than me now, and it made me sad to see her turn and go. Laughing with her friends, hand in hand, they rushed to go congratulate someone else. Who knew that that would be her last performance, down on the stage, hot under the lights? Down on the stage, hot under the lights, I fidgeted with my shirt that was just a little too loose, made to be falling off one shoulder, but I felt uncomfortable about it. I am 14 years old. My palms are sweaty, and I wipe them discreetly on my pants. I say the words in my head that are spoken a few feet away from me. I remember to exchange interested glances with the other extra to my right. We nod along to the dialogue, confused suddenly when we are supposed to be. I wait in ever-growing anticipation for the cue when they get up from their seats and walk across the stage towards us to deliver my one line of the whole production. Sometimes they crossed too fast and I was skipped over. This time I would not let it happen. I opened my mouth, and it seemed like all the butterflies in my stomach were going to escape out of it. It seemed like all the butterflies in my stomach were going to escape out of it as I stood up in front of hundreds of people in the audience, all waiting for me to start the service. I am 13 years old. The paper shook in my hand as I looked out across the sea of expectant faces. For a moment, I hoped that I would not let them down. I took a deep breath, held the yod between my fingers, and traced it along the lines of the Torah as I began to sing my parsha. Shakily at first, but as I continued, I gained confidence until I felt like I had the world at my fingertips. When I was done, I felt as if I could do anything. When I was done, I felt as if I could do anything. I had never had such a good race. I was 18 years old. My frame was hunched over my oar, and for a few Moments I could not catch my breath. All I could do was smile. I turned and passed a high five back to the three girls behind me, grins plastered across their faces as well. Congratulatory comments were overflowing into the water as we sat back and watched the other crews cross the finish line. I exhaled slowly, finally feeling like my lungs were back to their full capacity. I smiled to myself, knowing there was no other way I wished that race had gone. My legs ached as I stood thigh-deep in the freezing water afterwards, but over the warmth in my stomach, I could not even feel the cold. I could not even feel the cold as I slammed my legs into my boots and zipped my jacket as I ran down the hill as fast as my legs would take me. I am 16 years old. The wind burned my eyes and they watered weather tears at the corners of them. My body lunging forward, unable to keep up with my legs, I skidded to a halt in the gravel at the bottom of the hill. My hands fumbled clumsily with the latch on the gate. I flung the door open and was off again. Around the corner I slowed. I walked quietly, gently, until I peeked over the edge of the wooden stall to see the baby goat take its first wobbly steps. And I smiled. How lucky I was to get to witness this, walking for the first time. Walking for the first time in a foreign country is like nothing else. I feel like I am in a whole different world. As we wander the streets of Jerusalem, I am 12 years old. The cobblestones under my shoes create an uneven terrain, but the rocky path is nothing compared to what my ancestors have been through. Up against the wall, I reach my hands out and lay my palms against the warm stone. With my cheek pressed up against the wall, I can see hundreds of other people, awed by this amazing landmark. I breathe in 100 wishes pressed into the cracks in the stone, and I fold up mine and set it beside everyone else's, hoping that someday I too will be as old as this beautiful city. Thank you. Hope you guys liked that one. I'll see you next time.